And can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, let's keep it going. Okay. Well, I'm very excited to have you here, and I want to thank you for coming on. This is important. And I know some people aren't going to receive it well, but they need to receive it, and they need to just know. And I wanted to ask you, what is, because I was reading something earlier, and when you hear the words, I realize when people hear the words, then the word became flesh, right? Then the word was flesh. What does that mean to? Can you let the people know what that means? Because I didn't realize that when you look into the Bible or if they have it online, it's not saying, you know, the truth.
Well, that's a very good question because that's an argument that we have a lot when we tell people the Bible is not the word of God. And that scripture let us know the word become flesh, meaning God is spirit. God's spirit always chooses a living vessel or living vessels. And these vessels speak the word of God from the spirit. And that will be the word that the Bible teaches the living people to hearken to. And that's the word made flesh. So, in my title and what I hold is the first begotten. The word that has became flesh to deliver to the priesthood. And that will be the word of God. That's what the scriptures teaches us, what the word of God is. That's why it's a living God. It's the spirit of God going into a living vessel, and this vessel speaking the words of God. And a lot of times we go to the written word, and the written word might block our mind and eyes from seeing or hearing the spoken word, which would be the word of God. So it's basically saying the spoken word is the word of God.
That's what's up. Okay. Well, I know we got to give, feed the people right now. But before we get on into it, I wanted to also say this, and then we can just, dive right into it. But I know there's in the scripture it says, no one. I might not be saying it like verbatim, but no one gets through the Father but through the Son, right? Can you take
Correct.
it from here and let people know? Because if you really think about that, like why people thought they was just talking to God is kind of strange. If they didn't talk to you, you know.
And I think that's what the false doctrine has done to us. It made us think we are reading a book and we going through the sun. And I often let people know, like, even the character Christ that we imagine has no books inside the Bible.
Hmm.
So if we was to go through the Bible, wouldn't Christ leave a book of its own for us to read and not read other people's minds about somebody that we supposed to be going through when we read the Bible? So we are never reading Christ's book. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, because it's always going to be a spoken word. God will always have a spoken word, for us to receive the word of God. And, it never comes through the paper and pen. And we are that generation that have been indoctrinated with the paper and pen. And it's really causing us to be blind. And I don't say these things to throw shade on the Bible or make the Bible be false. These are just true facts. So you won't stumble, so you would be truly enlightened, and that's why I say you got to go through the Son is the flesh of God. God's Son is the fleshly image of God, because God don't have a fleshly image. So we as children, as sons and daughters of God, we are that image of the invisible. And that's how we go through the Son. We have to go through the flesh of the Son. And that's what the indoctrination is not teaching us. It's teaching us to open up a book, and now we have went through God. And that's the deception.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. When you just said, the book. So I guess we just take it from there, and you can just like, what did you call it a minute ago? Did you say like the meat and the potatoes or something like that? Yeah, let's give it to them. But like, it starts from that book because they're just so confused. It's like that book's really got them like wound up, and take it from there. Let us know what's up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How has that book? How has that book gotten us to where we are right now, and how today, right, as you are walking on Earth today, what do you? what do the people need to understand that you are here to do? Because I think they're so stuck in that book that they didn't even really realize, even plan to even meet, you know, Christ or Messiah or anything. I don't even know if they was ready for it to be in the sky. I think it was going to go along with the story and used to it. And I don't think anybody really was ready for it to ever like happen.
And like by us, we really are the first generation to read the Bible, because the Bible is a collection of books. So the book of Enoch, the Apocrypha, the book of Jasper, all these books go with the Bible. And if you only reading a book that was put together by the deceivers, then you might be held back to some things you might need to know. So we the first generation to collect, other books that go with the Bible, because that's what Bible means, collection of books. Now what reading does, reading causes vain imagination. Because remember, you're supposed to see and hear God, because God is going to be manifest to us in the flesh as the word become flesh. But this doctrine is not in our mind. So we go through the book and we imagine everything that we read. And the Bible tells us to get rid of vain imagination. Now, it's vain because you ain't seen it and you ain't heard it. So we are speaking about things that we haven't seen and we haven't heard. And that's what make it vain. When we was actually supposed to wait to hear and see God manifest in the flesh. That's what the whole prophecy is about. And like I said, we have gotten away from the prophecy, and now we are leaning on imaginations and interpretations of what we read. And it's actually causing us to be blind.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people think reading enlighten you, but reading really keep you blind. That's why somebody have to show you how to do something. And I always use the instance of carpentry, or instance, I'm a welder. When we was in welding school, they gave us all the answers to the book work. But just because you passed all the tests, that didn't make you a welder. Guess what made you a welder? You had to grab the welding rod and weld it. So our instructors had to teach us how to weld by us watching them weld. Not by us, just standing behind the book and reading it to us. And that's what we have been a part of. So the book is actually blinding and making us deaf to the word in the flesh, because we can't hear or see no more, because it's not according to what we imagine. Some people imagine Christ coming out the sky. So if Christ come up to you and talk to you and he ain't come out the sky, it ain't going along with your imagination. So you reject the word of God.
That is crazy. Wow. So at this point, everybody's like need to be in a be like when he said be reborn again, like as a child. Because I know that's what I feel like when I first, especially when I spoke to Danny that one time, I just let it all go. I just let it all go, ready to start again, because and that's what I feel like right now, like a child is learning.
And well, that goes back to that famous scripture: the meek gonna inherit the earth. Like we always talk about inherit these blessings that coming from God. But if you already know, that's not a meek person. One thing a meek person is, they are a good listener. They talk less. So right now, people are reading. The reading is making you do this. If you done read the Bible 2 or 3 times, it's gonna be hard for somebody to walk up to you and tell you what's in the Bible. Because what you gonna say? I already read it. I already know what's in the Bible. That's the first thing gonna come out your mouth, because you read it, you studied, you did. What would you call it? I can't say that word, but you did hard work. You done really put time into studying the Bible, and now you think you know. So when somebody come talk to you, you will humble yourself. And that's why the meek gonna inherit the earth. So it's only the meek people, or even the babes. This knowledge have been hidden from the wise and prudent, and it's been revealed to the babes. So this is prophecy also happening, as we can see. Because if you don't become a child, as the scriptures tell us, like, these are not teachings that we made up. These are biblical teachings for us to come as a child as God. But remember, we really don't know how God was gonna really show up.
Right.
Because we imagining, some rocket or some boom or some kind of miraculous sign, for us to become babes when it's not going to be like that. It's going to be just like in the scriptures. A prophet, anointed vessel, going to come to you and speak to you. And if you humble and if you meek, you will hear. If you're not, you won't.
Man, oh man. So much. Like to me, it just all like makes sense. And I was just wondering, I wanted to ask you something. Like, so if we would have never touched the Bible, we never would have read it, how do you think that would have been?
I think we would have been a better people. Because the Bible and the lies make people mad at God. People are mad at God for no reason because they think God lied to them. So the Bible is actually, like I say, it's actually keeping us blind because of the lie. Now, if we was given the Bible and say the Bible is the will of God, all this book is doing is telling you what God will do. This book is not giving you the secrets and the mysteries to know God. When I give you this Bible, the only thing you gonna know is the things that God will do at a certain time. But we wasn't told that. We was told this is the instructions of God. You read it, and now you have learned about God. So with that being said, because we think that the Bible is truly damage us, so the Bible has did a number on us because, like I said, it caused so many vain imaginations, and now people can't see and hear no more, because once you really think about a lot of teachings, they sound ignorant.
Yeah.
But it's written in the Bible, and because it's written in the Bible, we want to hold on to it,
right.
Because of what we think the Bible. So the Bible has really did a number on us. And I don't want to say the Bible is what we have been told about the Bible that's really doing a number. It's really not the book. It's just what we have been told about the book.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen people just like flip out. And then, like you said, like, I'm like, you don't know, like you riding for this and you don't even know, but you keep saying these things like if God came and told you that this is what it is. But, I know this hasn't been an easy road for you. I know you've been up against a lot. And because I feel that was in scripture. I didn't read a lot of the Bible, right? Thank goodness. But it kind of spoke of these days, right? Because I'm like in the council today, we're in different groups, and then they're so rude and just like nasty, and like the kids like laughing and making fun of stuff, like, oh, And I was thinking in my head, I was like, it spoke of, I think in the word, it's that these days are gonna, like in these times, like people are gonna reject and just because I don't get it, like even if you didn't receive, like you thought, like you second guess these people that are presenting you with this. It still doesn't require you to behave in that manner as they were behaving, right? You can still keep your composure and be respectful, and just we've seen it happen a lot, but not these people. And I was just like, wow. And we wonder what's wrong with the youth. What they got?
Is that, like I say, that they are angry, and a lot of people are not meek no more. This world don't produce meek people. It produce beasts. You got to be cold hearted.
Right.
The music, all these things is really making us a cold-hearted people, and we are not humble no more. It's just like when you see a humble child, you're like, man, it's a humble child. Right now, kids don't care about grown-ups, nothing. Like, and it's not being passed down. So of course, at this moment, you can see why it'll be that way.
Yeah.
Because of the lie and the deception, and when you got lie and deception, then you don't have love. That's just like you could be, even when you're in a relationship, when you lying to someone, that's the first person to say, well, you don't love me because you wouldn't lie to me. So love cannot be in the earth because the lie is in the earth. So really, there ain't no love.
So you're saying, because I've said that before, like love can't, like they can't be in the same, you know what I mean? At the same, like, right? Like say for instance, you got a hateful person, like racist and all that stuff, but they have, and I always say a person like that has no love with them. They don't even love themselves, because you can't have, you know what I mean, both of those together. So what you're saying is right now in this world, like when you say that, because I want the listeners to understand too, what should they receive from that? Are you saying like we don't know what real love is, like we don't, or like you're just speaking like in the world, how we see it, or like nobody really loves anyone or even knows what it is.
Well, yeah, because it's almost like when you love someone, you don't love someone because you can get resources or something. You love someone really for who they are. So in this world, it's not love because everything is a lie. Everything is based off a lie.
Mm.
You know, and a lie and love don't go together.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You don't lie and love. Like that's not these not the things. So it's almost like love can't even be presented in this world, or it can't be understood because there really ain't no examples.
Dang, that's
You know,
deep.
because the example is supposed to come from the religion. If the Muslims line, if the Christians line,
Hmm.
if the Baptist line, then these are all the places that's supposed to show us love, and we supposed to learn love. You know, from our neighborhoods, it ain't no love. So love is not being taught because the lie is in the world. So you can't have love. You're gonna have the artificial, you know, the fake smiles, the fake handshakes, the fake hugs, you know, the fake friends, but it's not really love because it's no truth.
Hmm. So basically, none of us really have experienced like real love, right? Because this indoctrination has been passed down from our parents generation to generation, right? And so none of us has really truly experienced that unconditional, that
Correct.
real true, like love. We've just been taking broken pieces, like we're broken people, right? And saying, "Yeah, that's my mom, that's my dad."
That's it.
Wow, that's very enlightening. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts going on, but I like it because I register it. It makes more sense. So for you, I want to. So for your position right now, and where we're at in this world, because I saw something a coming, something a brewing a few years ago. I don't know. I was looking around like anybody else catching this because something not right here. It never really had been right, but I knew something was coming. I just didn't know I'd ever be here for this day. But later on, I'll tell you this crazy story that always been with me like all my life. Where should what for the people that are listening and trying to register this, and even the ones probably that are not, when they listen, in your position, where is it that you're them to receive right now?
Hold up, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Let me close the door. I'm
Okay,
trying to listen across out here.
no problem. That's the Messiah, everybody. True story. Not in the sky. But
Yeah.
listening, please listen because this is important. Okay, so I
Yeah,
was
tell me
saying,
the last part.
for the position that you hold right now and what you're wanting the people to understand at this moment, like what is it that you because I know you have the questions are going to be regardless. There's going to be so many questions, like you just need to get with the program, right? And then you can definitely ask questions and all that stuff because it's going to come with it. But what do they need to know? What do you need them to understand what you're doing here, and then to show them that this is the real deal? Because I know there's the UCC and all that stuff, right? The UCC one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to get into like, just do your thing, y'all? Do your thing. So all you
Well,
now.
I think we must all understand that all religions speak about Christ, and we must understand that the return of Christ, the day Christ is revealed, all religions will be proven a lie. So if we could, base that concept, and that fact, if Christ coming back to get us out of all these religions, why are we putting our time and our effort into things that Christ haven't chosen? And that's an example I always like. Where do we read where Christ chose all Christians? Where do we read where Christ chose all Muslims? Like, where do we read these things? So I like to tell my people to focus more on nation building. I think a lot of people don't understand that I'm more of a nation building than a religious person. But because of my title, people get me mixed up with religion. So even when you talk about the UCC 1 document, it proves that Christ's story and all this prophecy is way bigger than a religious aspect in a book. It really has to do with a nation building and restoring something that was lost. And since as much as I've been in this, that's what I found my brothers and sisters not doing. We're not coming together to fix the problem. Right. We're arguing about information that we are getting to see how smart we are. Yep. When this is not that time. This is a time to become square bricks. When you building a house and you got bricks, just imagine if you grabbed a round brick, a triangle brick, a rectangle brick. You wouldn't be able to build a house. You'll be chopping bricks all day trying to fix and square them up so you can put them on top of each other. So as we all children of God, all we got to do is square ourselves up 90 degrees, be straight. And God can use you for any place on the building temple. So when it's time for God to grab you, God can put you in the middle. God can put you on the bottom. God can put you on top. God can put you on the side. Or you could be placed anywhere in this building, in this nation building. We're supposed to be nation building. That's what we're not doing. You know, we all getting information and, you know, shaping ourselves up the way we want to be. And I'm this, you know, when at the end of the day, we're supposed to be coming together as a nation building. So the UCC one proves that all these businesses, all these corporations, all these things going to be given back to Christ. You know, and that's the whole thing about the children of Abraham coming out with great possessions, because the children of Abraham going to be with Christ. Because what did Abraham do in the writings? Abraham rejoiced at the coming. So if you of that seed of Abraham, you're rejoicing right now. If you of the mind of Abraham, you're rejoicing, because these things finna be given a whole kingdom. You know, and that's what really this is about. This is really about kingdom building right now on earth, the kingdom of heaven. And a lot of times we get away from that because of the information we be gathering. And that's what I encourage my brothers and sisters mostly to do, because like I say, after all this time, the UCC one proves all these corporations, all these businesses we striving for, all this will be under Christ. Just like everything you do is under the Roman Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. We must understand this. America is a corporation. When you do a business, when you pay taxes, all this linked back to the Roman Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. So now we got a UCC one document where they signed all their stuff over and gave it to Jesus Christ. Mm. And this is another example of why the Pope worship the Virgin Mary and what? The baby Christ. Mm. But that image is symbolic for what? Christ. That's not a symbolic of Pope bowing down to some ancient person back in the days. No, this is symbolic to the Roman Catholic Church have to kneel to Christ. This is what that symbolic thing means. And this is why the CIA always been trying to stop the rise of the Messiah. Because if Messiah was the rise, the Roman Catholic Church knows, then they have to worship and bow to that individual. Hmm. But we don't, because we think the Virgin Mary and Christ came 2,000 years ago, but the Roman Catholic Church know it didn't come 2,000 years ago. You know, so it just showing you how these images have been symbolically fit for God prophecy, and it has been changed by mankind into man wisdom to deceive the world. And now we don't understand that the Virgin Mary and the child is walking the earth. But it's not according to Hollywood. It's just somebody coming from untouched wisdom. That's what the Virgin Mary represents. Something that's untouched was going to give birth to what? God's Son, to restore the pure order in the earth. And the Pope and the Roman Catholic Church have to worship it. And that's why the Pope still kissed the black Mary and the black Jesus, the black baby Jesus. Wow. You know?
Man, oh man, I tell you. I mean, I can see why some people are going to have a rough time with this, because, you know what I mean? This is some messed up stuff. This is the biggest lie you're ever going to hear in your whole entire life. I think this might top your adopted. Sure. But, I mean, I was like, oh, shit. I was like real right there. So that being said, I've always like thought like this in my head, like, I don't really think that. I think the movie, like you said, like the movies, all that stuff, have us in this frame of mind, like of a world that we don't even like never seen or live, right? And they mess our imagination, and somehow that makes us start to believe those fairy tale stories. Like, how that sounds ridiculous. Like, like how you're here, you're there right now. Like that's how it's like. So I feel like it did it so people wouldn't register and be like, oh, like see you, talk to you, and be like here, because they think they got them over there in movie land and showed you all this stuff and mess with your head, and you're like, you're not coming down here and touch this ground. It's too dirty down here, and you like, dude, I see something come out the sky, a man come out the sky. I'm not gonna really stick around. So, I'm a little skeptical about that because I didn't watch the movies and it didn't go too well. But yeah, it took them away from reality, kind of, right? And they didn't know there was going to be a regular. Not saying I would never say you regular, but you know what I mean when I say that, right? Like you're a human being. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, what's up? Like, what's up? Right? Like you tell somebody, I'll talk to them Messiah today. Like, what? What's wrong with you? Like, what do you mean? So you telling me if you saw it floating in the sky, that would be normal? Oh dear. So yeah, what do we do now? What we do, what we do.
Why is it blow them trumpets?
Well, so what does it take, like for people, even people like listening that will be listening, watching? I love the fact that we're doing video too. Video is great so they can see the authenticity, but to really break through that really thick illusion that shit they got going on there where they don't want to let go and believe, right? Because I'm like, well, what was it like if you keep knocking all the ones like pow, 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 not you, not you. Like when was it gonna be the one? Like how is you gonna know? Do you like know like what you're looking for?
Well, no, it's just a lot of people think the truth was for a lot of people. When the whole prophecy said a few chosen. So it's like it's gonna take a small axe to chop down a big tree. You know, you can get an axe about this big. You can get a huge tree, and that little bit of axe can chop down that big tree. And that's really what the truth is. So it's just certain people that have to be marked. It's certain people that have to know so the government can be formed. Because like I said, this is reality. So reality, we have to have a government. And for us to have a government, we got to have one mind and one accord. So it's only a certain number of people that have to be marked. And once that number is fulfilled, then, you know, we go to the other side. And I don't mean as death. I mean, the world get turned upside down. Those who at the bottom finna go to the top. And that's really the marking of the children of God. As I say, the name of God is going to be written on your forehead. That means you're going to have the thought and the image of God in your mind. You're going to see God. And that's really what we're doing. So it's not really a lot of people, because a lot of people, you know, when they do hear this message, they be like, why ain't 1,000 people listening? Well, it was never for that. You know, it was for that small few to be gathered, you know, so we can have our government. So when everything, you know, transfer over, then we have our people, you know, so at the end of the day, I don't think, you know, a lot of people will never hear this message until the end. And believe it or not, it's more people here than not. But remember, to follow this, you got to take up your cross. And that stopped a lot of people from coming forth. Because I get a lot of inboxes, man, you know, appreciate it, keep going, you know, over the years, all the time. That means they hear it, but they're not ready to pick up their cross. You know, so it's way more people hear this message than we think. But it's only a few that's going to hear it and pick up their cross.
Now, when you say pick up their cross, you mean like they were like reluctant to like step forward and be a person that speaks the truth to people and actually like kind of like what we're doing now and like what the council does and everything, right?
Yeah.
Pick it up. And so what would you say what you think would have them be reluctant? Do you think it's judgment from others or the backlash and the stuff that comes with it? Like what would make someone be like not to do it? They know it, they hear it, but they just don't do it.
Well, yeah, it will basically be the backlash, the humiliation, the being laughed at, you know, just being talked about in a negative way. Like, you know, I remember my first time being humiliated on social media. I was like, damn, I ain't even did nothing. Why they doing that to me? You know, like that's the feeling I had. You know, so some people, yeah, you know, a lot of people don't really want that, you know. some people have jobs, you know, they don't want they you know, some people are private people and they have all these stipulations that will stop them from bearing their cross.
Hmm.
Uh, and like the scripture say, you can't follow Christ without taking up the cross. These why these things are said. So yeah, you know, very few people, you know, don't want to take that humiliation. So that's really the cross that most don't want to bear. And they even have another scripture where it say, many other teachers and rulers believe upon me, but because they didn't want to get kicked out the synagogue, they wouldn't confess.
Hmm.
You know, like so these are prophetic writings that's actually showing you these things is gonna be going on, and they are going on. You know, so you have to take up your cross to really be beneficial to this message. You know, if you don't, you know, you won't really be working for the message. You know, you'll just be like, well, I'm not blaspheming. You know, I'm not. You know, but that's the hard part about this message is taking up the cross. Because like I said, it's man, you know, we done broke this message down so good. Well, we could teach this to fifth graders, the basic principles. Maybe not all the mysteries, but we could teach the basic principles and the foundation that we are saying to fifth graders. You know, but when it's time to pick up your cross, that's what kind of holds a lot of people back.
Hmm. Yeah, man, oh man, I can understand. You know, been indoctrinated, then you know the backlash, and but I mean, it's like at some point in your life, you got to make harsh decisions, and what is worth, like what's worth, you know, like when always going to be easy. That's that comes to that point where it's like I don't know, like it's good. It's a choice like no other that you've ever had to make in your whole entire life, you know, but it's going to lead to the rest of your life. So which one are you going to choose, right? But yeah, most definitely. So I know that we speak of, and we were talking about this earlier. I was listening in this group. It was crazy. Just like the ignorance that was going on. It wasn't just the ignorance. It wasn't the fact that they didn't believe, because you know when you hear it right away, you're a little skeptical. But it was like 100, 200 or something of them in that room. And you can hold that many. Oh, let me shut up. I have to stop calling people stupid. Uh, can't help it sometimes, but it was that many of them. And they just thought it was so funny, right? But tell us about what's so significant. And then some of them swore they were from Ethiopia. So what's so significant about Ethiopia?
What's so significant, man? Ethiopia. It's so many things that's significant about Ethiopia that links to the Bible is almost, you know, crazy. And when I finally made the connection and understood it completely, I thought it was like another hidden gem that my brothers and sisters was just gonna clap about. I would have never thought in a million years when we start bringing up Ethiopia, people would just reject it and hate it, and it would cause more hatred. But when you deal with the first churches, Ethiopia, the first churches ever built come from Ethiopia. The first Renaissance painting of Christ come from Ethiopia. The only royal priesthood that's connected to the Negus, you know, come from Ethiopia. The Solomonic dynasty come from Ethiopia. The first Bible come from Ethiopia. You know, and you know the list go on, and you know for us to not even look to Ethiopia when we look to this Bible, you know, it's crazy. You know, so when you deal with the Solomonic dynasty, like I tell people, you can't say Solomon without David. Solomon come from David. So even when I mention the Solomonic dynasty, people get puzzled. Like it's no other royal priesthood. That's what the Bible is about. So it's so much of you know the Bible and the stories that connect to Ethiopia, and it's crazy how they just gave us Jerusalem, and now everybody turned away. You know, and nobody's looking at Ethiopia. And it goes to show you, even a lot of Ethiopians are indoctrinated with this false doctrine. And that's why we got to understand the treaty that Ethiopia had with the Roman Catholic Church. So the Roman Catholic Church has been sending missionaries in Ethiopia since the 1800s. This is historical facts. So they've been pushing their Christianity in Ethiopia since the late 1800s. You know, And so this ideology now and this lie is even in the Ethiopians who never left Ethiopia.
Mm.
You know, and so Ethiopia is very, very important to understanding history when according to the Bible. Because we understand the biblical history according to Hollywood and the Roman Catholic Church. But the Roman Catholic Church are not the inventors of the people who had the Bible. They telling their story. The Ethiopians never told the story of what happened in history. These things we got to understand. So how could the Roman Catholic Church tell us about history that they weren't even a part of?
Right.
And they never let the Ethiopians tell their version to the world. So the world just have a version and a perspective from people who wasn't even a part of the biblical history. And that's why we don't look to Ethiopia. But right now, Ethiopia is waiting on Christ to return. Ethiopia is waiting for Christ to return to restore Ethiopia. This is an ancient saying amongst the Ethiopian people, but not the Ethiopian government. This is like in the streets of Ethiopia, in the heart of Ethiopia. This is not something the government is pushing. Oh, Christ coming back to Ethiopia. But this is something the Ethiopians are pushing, who are in Ethiopia. And so Ethiopia plays a major fact when it comes to the biblical history, and a lot of us don't even know nothing about Ethiopia. All we know is kids starving.
Yeah, right. That's all they told people, right? I started to look towards Ethiopia. Sometime think like last year when I started to hear some things. I don't know if this registers, but I was told, I heard, and then I heard somebody in Ethiopia say it because we're on we used the Gregorian calendar, but they were saying like how we were in different. Like right now, what's it, 2023? And at the time I heard it, is like, okay, 2020 or something like that. And then they said Ethiopia was like literally like 7 years apart. Like they're on the right time. They're on, it's like 215 or something over there. I was like, wait, what? And I was like, but then I was like, I wouldn't be surprised. Does that have anything? Does that register at all? Like, it seems like what I was seeing, like the calendar, the times, and like how Ethiopia dates were. Like, it seemed like if they stuck with like the truth, and then like colonizers or America kind of like switched it up, and so we've just been going on off of here. But Ethiopia is really on the right time, and like, what's going on here?
Well, I wouldn't say they're on the right time, but they are on a different time. Because time is just used for man to govern, the world that man and woman have created. That's what man time is for. Man time don't govern God. God time and man time is separate.
Right.
That's why nobody knew the time, not even the sun. So the time that anybody in the world is dealing with, that just used to govern their society.
Right.
But that also reveals that the dates that we go don't line up with God. Like these are things that also should to bring a light bulb in our mind. So I wouldn't consider Ethiopia to be on the right time. I'm just showing you how they have their own structure. They have their own society, and everything America is not controlled. So but that is true. Ethiopia is 7 years behind us. So when it comes to all of this stuff that we really going by, just showing you how it's just man tradition. Right. It's not something that's actually delivered from God. And so but Ethiopia is 7 years behind us, y'all.
That's amazing.
Not 2023 though. It's really not.
Wow. You guys heard it here. See? Told you I wasn't lying. Yeah, that's something else. But I mean, it just makes, I personally think it should make people want to learn more. Like, because we ain't been learning nothing. This is some indoctrinated, I'm a teacher, and I was just like, this ain't it. Right? Something's not right. This is just like, this is not doing nothing. It's not challenging the mind. It's not making the kids want to like just be, want to know what life is about. You just little soldiers, little robots running around here, and I think people even now, like, we should be in that child-set mind and want to know more. Like, it's okay to ask questions and wonder. versus just not saying or asking or assuming, or not wanting to say anything because you don't want to seem like stupid or any, and it just, people just wonder why people have mental health issues. And it's really the people in general, like we don't take accountability that we do this to one another. We make it hard for each other to be ourselves or to want to step out because always judging. And I mean, like today, it was horrible to listen to them just laugh at everybody, like, and just make fun of people. Like, you have children? This is what you do? Turns me off.
Especially in a time like this where we are doing so much suffering and all the stuff we are seeing, in the year 2000, the stuff that we are able to see, around the whole world, we're able to watch our own news now. We're able to, so with all this that's going on and we come on social media in front of the world and laugh and joke and play about it, like if this was going on to another nation, they'll be coming together, setting up some government to get this stuff fixed. Yep. Because I think it was something happening with some group of people, and they came together and they did something, with the I can't remember what race it was or what particular group, but it was something like somebody was teasing them or something, and they immediately came together and figured out a plan to stop that. And I think they even got money. They even got money. So it's just showing, as a race of people, when people say we are cursed, if you ask me, I would have to say we are cursed because why do we act this way?
Right.
Out of all the people in the world, why we act this way at this appointed time with all this going on with us, with all the stuff that's already went on. Why would we want to continue to act this way? So we have to be a sickness or a disease that we carry, and we have to be healed from it, to remove our problem.
Yeah.
It would have to be, because there's no way we should be clowning like this at this time with no solutions, no plan. Just what we gonna do? Talk about it,
right? Because that's all they do.
we gotta do better than talk.
Yeah, or they say this, and I can't stand when people say this. I'd be like, "Oh, call me when you figure it out." They'd be like, "Y'all, we got to get together. Black people, we got to come together." I'll be like, "Oh my God." I was like, "That's all we got to do? That's embarrassing that you had to say that shit." I was like, "That's all we have to do?" Damn. Well, call me when you figure it out. Because right after you say that, you go back to disrespecting one another, calling each other the N word and the B word, and you don't see anybody else running out to social media making a fool out of each other. And like they do it somewhere else, maybe in behind doors, but we like to go straight in front of people. Like, here we are. Now let's make a fool of ourselves and each other, and wonder why people be looking at us a certain kind of way. Embarrassing, but I believe that what you said, like a curse. There's a lot of stuff going on where it's like they were talking earlier, like there's a lot of like black men they're speaking of like unaliving their spouse or their mom or something like that. And I was like, that's just not normal. Like something's going on. Because that's not who we are.
People. We are sick people. We sick. We need that healing. We need that food for thought. That nutrients of truth. The nutrients of truth will make us rise above the madness we are in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm grateful that you're here, and I'm here, and however I can, help. I'm just humbled, and I don't even know what to think or say. Still, I don't even know if it's really totally really like hit me. It keeps coming in those spurs, but I want to. I wasn't sure like today, like how it's going to go, because I know what's up, and I know there's going to be people like. But I knew that I wanted to have it like this so people can hear us talking, asking certain questions, and just like you just pay attention. This conversation sounds very, very logical and very, you know what I mean? It's like it's nothing like far fetched and that's crazy. That's out like for this to make it not register. But I just I don't know. I felt like I knew I was on the right path. I was all about this love, like this love for the world, wanting to help people and change the world. People were telling me that you can't do that. You're never going to change the world. Like it's pointless and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, well, why do I want to do this? And then when I met you, then I knew I was like, okay, that's why I wanted to. It's okay because it's not about race, right? Because then it's like, and but right before I say this, I wanted to let you know this is your thing going here. So if you got more you want to hit them with, you hit them with it. If we want to, you have a few things you want to close, whatever works for you. But I did want to bring this up, right? This part here. Was it ever about like race at all whatsoever, or was this for everybody?
Well, no. This is never about race. But if you have a certain group of people that's being oppressed,
Right.
that's why the story is about them. Like I'm not. This is not about us building a kingdom to hate white folks.
Right.
Hate the Chinese man. No, it's actually about building up our kind so we can. Because one thing about humans, we don't have an animal nature where we just, oh, he in my territory, let me kill him.
Right.
That's a beast mentality. We are humans, so we know how to coexist with one another. But they got it in our society where they are stopping a certain group of people from coexisting with the other world. Yeah. By lying to them about their history, taking their history from them, indoctrination them, pausing them, just stripping them from everything so they can't get ahead. So that's why the story is about us. But it's not about us so we hate white people. So it was never really about race. It's just about morals, justice, and righteousness. That's really what this is about, because God is a God of all races. But like I tell people, like when you deal with certain animals, you always have a superior to show the majesty or the strength of something. So when you have the lion is the head of cats. When you got the anaconda, it's the biggest. You got the king cobra. Like you have certain creations that might be different from other creations, but they all part of the creation. And when it comes to us as what they would call black people, we are of this creation, but we also have a gift. Where we're able to bring flavor, we could bring law, we could bring images, we could bring all this to the world based off our gift that we have. And that's why they still using our gift today. They still using black people to control the world. Mm-hmm. Because that's the gift that's been given to us, but we also abuse that gift in history. And that's the part black people not really told. We're not told about what our ancestors did to get us here. We just told what the white man did to us once we was here. But we weren't told the facts about how we abused a lot of things that was given to us that got us in this condition. So at the end of the day, it's not about race. It is all about righteousness. It's all about righteousness.
I like that. So they're just right. Some not, but they're just people, and they come in all shades and colors. You can't hold somebody because their ancestors or their grandfather, because that could, I never really believed in hold hostage, because if that was the case, like you said, it would be the same for us. I think about in our head, our ancestors were just like so innocent, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, they were just victims, but they had a part to play in this too.
Correct. Correct.
Very interesting. Man, I felt like I just learned a lot, like in how hour. Right? This is real education, okay? And that's indoctrination here. This is real wisdom. Well, I think time flies so fast, and I don't know what time I'm on, but I'm pretty sure you get to sleep. You do you?
Oh yes. I sleep very good. You kind of breaking up on my end, sis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely. I actually, right before I came on here, I took me a nap. So yeah, I'm always resting. I don't. My rest is not the problem. The problem is, the ignorant people. The leaders. That's really the problem. And really, it's not the people, because, like I say, it's a lot of people that hear this message. And everybody's not a governor. Like, everybody's not a politician, but because you're not a politician, that don't make you a bad person. You know, but in our minds, when Christ speak, everybody got to come before Christ. But if you read the Revelations, Christ only got the angels in his right hand. So Christ deal with the angels, not everybody. But we think Christ come back, Christ gonna have to line everybody up, and we all gonna come to Christ and tell Christ everything that happened in our life. You know, that's the Hollywood deception. You know, so my job is really just dealing with the angels. So the angels is really giving me hell. It's not really the people. You know, a lot of people, man, believe it or not, when I talk to it and I bring, you know, because I don't reveal to everybody I'm Christ. I just don't walk up to people and say, hey, I'm Christ. Look, you know, I mostly have conversations with people. I try to meet them as, you know, as they are, you know, as who I am. And when I have conversations with people hear this message, you know, but a lot of people that hear this message are not politicians. The politicians, aka the angels, they the ones that this message disturbs. Because they the ones that have stood up and told lies, not the people. The people haven't stood up and told lies. So this message don't really affect them as it would do someone that has stood up and told lies. So
wow. It's about to get real. I don't know. I'm excited. I don't know which one to be, but I'm happy to be here. You know, happy to be here. More comforted that you're here, but yeah, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate you coming on here and sharing this message. And you're more welcome to any platform I have. I would love to be able to again, and even maybe with some more, you know, of our folks. So there, do you have any social media handles you want to drop off for the listeners to follow you and check you out?
all right, yeah. If y'all would just go to my website, yahJew.com. All my social media platforms is linked there. You know, my YouTube, my Instagram, my TikTok, you know, Clubhouse, all those things is linked there. So if you go to the website, it'll be a one-stop shop for you. You'll be able to sign a petition that I started to remove the Pope off the throne, so we could have our throne, the throne of David that's in Ethiopia, so we could govern Africa. You know, unite Africa as the mother of resources. You know, these things are very important to us. A lot of other nations, the Chinese man, you know, the Caucasian man, the Italian man, all these people have went into Africa and using their resources. Why we don't go into Africa and use their resources if we African Americans? You know, so that's kind of what the petition is about. It's about removing the Pope off the throne so we can go use our resources. We can have our government. You know, so I do have that also on the website. So the website is a one-stop shop, yahJew.com, and you will be able to get, you know, all my resources and information. You know, if you want to look into more of what we're doing and other family members that's also a part of this mission, the website will be a one-stop shop for you.
Okay, I'll definitely put that on the on the link, and I think I actually put your website up on my website too. Like, so you know,
okay,
I can find you there also. But yeah. So, is there anything you want to leave with us at all? Whatever, you know, anything you want to say?
I'm not a very good motivational speaker, so I don't have too many motivational quotes. But I just want my brothers and sisters to understand it's time for us to build our nation. We have the ability. We are the chosen generation. A lot of times we look in the past to other chosen people when we are the most special people of any book that we read. And I think sometimes we need to be reminded of that, so we can use our gift, our talent, and our power that we have so we can build our nation. Because I think that's what we have really gotten away from. So I just want to leave the encouragement to nation building. And nation building has nothing to do with religion. Nation building look just like what you see in America. Politicians, judges, lawyers, doctors, you know, all under a government. And they follow rules and regulations. Every lawyer, every doctor, every judge follows rules and regulations. You know, and I think it's time for us to set up our rules and regulations under our people, you know, and unite Africa. And that can also trigger down to America. you know. But first, we have to get our stuff together for our people. And I think Africa is the best place. It has all the resources, way more resources than America. You know, so all these other nations can go into Africa, and Africa is where we actually come from. I think we have the original rights to Africa. You know, and like I say, the Roman Catholic Church and all these people know these things. So I just want to encourage us to nation build. You know, be more humble with each other, and you know, really get with the plan. You know, that's really what I could leave my brothers and sisters with. Get with the plan, because this is God's plan. And God's plan was to restore, not teach. It's not for us to set up schools and teach. Once we restore, then we can set up these things. You know, but we just setting up buildings to teach people what we imagining, and we not really doing nothing. Then that's stopping the growth of the people.
Right.
So.
That's what's up. Yeah, totally. I just felt that what you said right now, because I was like in my head, like, and then we don't really move. We think we're doing something, but you're just in this room every day. You're just teaching, you're just talking and talking, but no one's doing anything. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me and being on my show. And like I said, you're more than welcome here at any time. And I thank you for what you're doing.
I appreciate your braveness, you know, for inviting me to have me on and linking up with me. Like I said, I hope to continue more. You know, maybe we could do some lives and, you know, continue to spread the message for our brothers and sisters so they can get it. So I appreciate you as well, sis.
Yes. So I'm going to, okay. So I say this to the guest, because when I close the show down, like, I won't take up the time. I just kind of close it down, and then I speak to you for like a few seconds. So I'm just going to ask you to stick around for like 5 seconds after we say goodbye to the audience. Sound good?
That's it.
All right.
That's good.
Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in. I hope that this episode here